Whether dodgy mileage, dodgy paperwork, dodgy repairs, or one of many other traps for the unwary, most can be avoided by following a few simple rules. Forget to follow them, and you may find out the hard way how not to buy a car.
It was 10 years old, I paid over the odds. Every time I got into it, I felt like crying. And every time I got into it towards the end, when it was costing me over £100 a month in just maintenance alone, I felt like getting a can of petrol, pouring it over the top of the car and setting light to it. I felt that bad about it.
Do your homework. It's worth investing a few quid in the second-hand listings. Then decide how much you want to spend, what model you want and how old it's going to be, and stick to that decision. An impulse buy is okay for a bar of chocolate, but after you're home, a car's likely to be the biggest investment you make.
I had a fixed amount of money and I knew I couldn't go over that, but I saw the car and I really liked it, so I did go over my money. It was too expensive for me, I couldn't really afford it.
Check everything in the ad. Is that a private number or is it a cell phone, which might just indicate a fly-by-night vendor? Is the ad marked with a T, which means trader in a press ad? Take someone along who knows about cars and is happy to show off a bit. And if you're a woman, take someone along anyway, whether you know all about cars or not.
I bought a sports car once, only had it a couple of weeks, and the engine blew. And then there's various other problems went wrong with it, and I eventually found out it was an insurance write-off rebuild. Very disappointing. Cost me a lot of money.
If you're meeting the vendor in a street outside a house, do they actually live there so you can trace them if something goes wrong? Ask them to go inside and get the paperwork or fetch you a glass of water.
We bought a second-hand car and eventually found out the hatchback never quite fitted properly. It's one of those things that leaves a sort of a nasty taste in your mouth, not being pointed out at the time. We put up with it and eventually sold it, but never totally pleased with the car because of that.
Have you time to check on the HP status, the insurance status? If it's a repaired crash, do you still want it?
I found out after I bought it that it had actually been involved in an accident, it being sprayed a different colour. I've had to buy 2 new front wings for it, so it's ended up quite a lot more expensive than I can afford, really.
Now, will he take a cheque or does he insist on cash? The few days it takes a cheque to clear will give you time to check out both the car and its paperwork.
The car looked so good that we thought, great, this is the one we want. So we didn't really bother checking the paperwork or anything. Don't know where the MOT came from or anything, just pleased to have it.
Don't rush into a purchase because it looks as though the vendor needs the money, or because you don't want to be any more trouble, or even because you're short of time to look at cars.
I'd only been driving it for about 2 or 3 hours when I realised it wanted to turn right a lot. Going into left-hand bends, you had to fight the steering wheel.
Pick your time and don't look at a car in the dark. Also, rain will mask body flaws and put pressure on you to make up your mind more quickly than you should. And finally, remember, you can always walk away from a car. There are lots and lots and lots of them out there to choose from, and one of them just has to have your name on it.